afternoon, and welcome to Flower Power, the first summer STEAM of the 2021 summer reading program. So if you have your bag of items that you picked up at the library, or if you gathered your own supplies at home, you can work along with Miss Jennifer today. And please remember to watch for registration for the next summer STEAM program, which will be Robotic Hand. Registration will open on June 21st, and the program will be held on June 28th. And now here's Miss Jennifer and Flower Power.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Summer STEAM program from Fauquier Public Library. This is one of our Summer Reading Program Series events, and we're going to be talking about all of the aspects of STEAM, which are science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And today's program is called Flower Power. So we're going to learn about the science of flowers, how they pass water through their cells, how they drink through their stems like straws. And we're going to apply what we learned to a craft at the end of the program, where we'll make some coffee filter flowers. We have many books on this and other STEM topics at the library, so come by and check one out if you're interested in learning more. But let's move on into the rest of our program. We are going to be talking about the science of flowers, and I have a little picture to show you guys. We have Garfield here with books strapped to him, and the sign says, "I'm learning by osmosis." I was a Garfield fan as a kid, and I saw this poster. I knew it was supposed to be funny because Garfield's funny, right? But I didn't get it. What is osmosis? So now I know that osmosis is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane, which means that it will allow certain things to pass through it. Plants are filled with cells, and water moves through those cells by the process of osmosis. And as we just learned, osmosis and the movement of water is very important to help a plant grow. So here's a demonstration that you guys can try at home sometime using really simple items. We're going to take a stalk of celery. You can cut it and put it in a small glass of water filled with food coloring and let it sit. The longer you let it sit, the more the color will become visible, and you can tell that the water has moved through the plant of celery because it will start to look like this. Does that look like a normal stalk of celery? Not at all. We have red food coloring here and mixed in water, and we've let the celery sit, and it has turned the plant red. And that shows you that the water has moved up through the plant. I have another one here to show you where we tried it with blue. Look at our blue celery. So that's one experiment that you all can try at home. The process of the cells filling up with water also stiffens the stalk of the plant. It makes it nice and firm, and it also does that to the stems and the leaves. This is called Turgor pressure. Without water, the cells will lose their shape because the pressure is what keeps the cell nice and round and whole. So when the pressure is not there, the plant can look kind of sad and droopy and wilty. So you know that that means that it needs more water. Now, we just talked about water flowing up the stem of celery, but doesn't water flow down? How does it flow up through the plant? We see water coming down in a waterfall. We see water coming out of a faucet, but it flows up a plant. So that's a little strange. How does that happen? That is called capillary action. And that is the ability of liquid to flow in a narrow space without the assistance of gravity, or actually in the other direction from gravity. So it travels up the stem like a straw. And so we just saw how that process looks from the outside by looking at celery, but let's take a look at what that might look like from the inside using another experiment with simple objects that you guys can find at home. So we're going to take a few more cups filled with water and food coloring, and we are going to stir them up so they're nice and mixed. And you can see here that we have blue and yellow and red. Now we are going to take some thin strips of paper towel and we're going to place them so that they are inside the cups, and we will see the water travel up the paper towel until they meet at the middle. This might take a second because it's traveling up through the little pockets of air in the paper towel. The fibers of the paper towel help the water move upward because they are porous, which means they have small spaces or holes through which the liquid passes. So if you see a commercial where they talk about all the little pillows that are in a paper towel to make it nice and soft, that's what's moving the liquid around through the strips of paper towel. Now, we're starting to see a little bit where the liquid is meeting from one color to the next. And it might take a second, but we will probably see the primary colors of red and yellow and blue interact and turn into our secondary colors. So we will maybe see a little bit of orange and green and purple. We might set this one aside and come back to it in just a few minutes. But that gives you a little bit of an idea of how the liquid travels up through a plant. We saw a little bit of a demonstration of how that works, traveling up through the air pockets. I think we should probably take a little time to look at our craft now. I hope you all have your craft bags, or if you don't, that you've assembled the ingredients that you'll need to work on our craft. We're going to make some coffee filter flowers. So let's gather our materials. You're going to want to start off by laying out a paper towel or a newspaper to cover your table, because we are going to have some colors moving around and we want to make sure that our surfaces are protected. The supplies you will need are a white coffee filter, a small glass of water, less than an inch full, a chenille stem, stick, or twig, a washable marker. It's very important that it is washable, not a Sharpie, a pair of scissors, and some clear tape. So the first thing we're going to do is take your coffee filter and flatten it out so it makes a nice round circle. Then we're going to take our washable marker and we're going to draw a circle where the top rigid part of the coffee filter meets the circle at the bottom. The bigger the circle is, the more ink will be on the coffee filter, and that will be more ink that can move up the coffee filter to make your colorful sort of tie-dyed flower. So more ink is good, but try to leave the center part clear. Now, you guys might not have time to do all of these steps right together with me right now, but you can come back and watch this later. We're going to record it so you can see it on demand later on, or you can just set it to the side and come back in just a little bit. But we're going to take our coffee filter with our circle and we're going to fold it in half once. Then we're going to fold it in half a second time, and then in half a third time. So it has a little cone shape, and you're going to have the white part down here at the bottom and your strip of color in the middle. Then you're going to take your small cup of water. Now remember, you're not going to need very much water, and you don't want your ink to touch the water. So it's just got to be enough to get right up there to the point. There we go. And then we're going to watch as the color spreads up through the ink. It's already starting. You can sort of see right here, the water is going to spread up through the coffee filter. Now, let's set that to the side. The project works specifically with washable markers because the fact that they're washable means that the ink dissolves in water. That means they are soluble. The ink dissolves in water and the coffee filter moves the water up and it carries the ink with it, just like the fibers of the paper towel did. And you can see that my colors are starting to separate a little here. This experiment also explores the idea of chromatography, which is the separation of a mixture by passing a solution through a medium. In this case, we're separating the colored ink of the markers by passing it through the coffee filter using water. So if you have a green marker, you might be able to see some yellow and some blue when the color separates. Or if you have a purple marker, you might see some red and blue. In this case, I had a black marker, so we're seeing a lot of different colors. It looks like green is the predominant one right there. So we're going to set that to the side, and you might want to set yours to the side because it does take a few minutes, but we're going to let that start to work. And once your coffee filter has as much color as you want it to have, you can take it out of your water, very carefully lay it on your paper towel or your newspaper to dry. It'll just take a couple of minutes to dry, but it's going to take a little longer than we have together today. So you might need to wait to finish this last part. Once it's dry, it might look a little something like this. So you're going to take your dried coffee filter, and we're going to do the folding again. We're going to fold it in half and in half and in half to make our cone shape. And then you're going to take a pair of scissors and do a little trimming around the sides just to make it into more of a flower petal shape. Then you can unfold it a little, but still keep it pinched right there. And we're going to take our little pipe cleaner or chenille stem, and we're going to wrap that around the bottom, secure it with a little piece of tape, and you have a beautiful coffee filter flower. And your bag will have enough to make 2. And if you have your supplies at home, you might have enough to make a whole bouquet. So let's set this to the side and take another look at our paper towel experiment, because we do have some color mixing going on. I hope you will be able to see. Let me bring down so you can sort of see a little where our red and blue have made purple and where our red and yellow have made orange. And then the green is very strong. Let me see if I can turn this around a little bit. So you can see where the green has mixed right here. So we do absolutely have some secondary color mixing going on here. So that's a fun experiment that you all can try at home. So I hope you all have enjoyed our program today. Let's take another look at Garfield. Now we know what osmosis means. He thinks that he can learn the information in the books just by strapping them to his body and having the information flow through the cells of his body. But does it work that way? No, he's going to have to actually read the books. So I hope you all have enjoyed our time together today. I hope that you will continue making your coffee filter flower, and that you were going to come by the library and read some more books on the science of flowers and STEAM. I hope you come by and see us. Remember to register for our next STEAM program. Registration opens 1 week before the program date. Supply bags are limited, but if you aren't able to register to get a bag, we have a supply list available so you can still join from home. Today's program will be available on demand beginning tomorrow at noon. So you can find a link on our website. I hope you come by and see us this summer. We have a lot of great fun going on at the library, and we'll see you really soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope we see you next time. Bye, everyone.